Welcome back to That Entrepreneur Show. I'm excited for today's guest because we had the chance to have a call before the show, build up some rapport, and he's a lights out guest. You may have seen him in Market Watch, Bloomberg, National Post, Financial Post, but he is, as I would say, the matchmaking king over here in the marketing arena. So thank you so much for joining us here on That Entrepreneur Show.
Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm excited, and I'm excited to share. He's getting ready to go to Mexico after this call. So tell everybody what you're up to out there.
Yeah, I joined a bunch of different entrepreneurship groups, and one of the groups that I'm a part of has a mastermind in Mexico. So what better way to connect with other business owners in the sun and having fun?
Well, I'm excited to learn exactly how you got there, everyone. We're going to learn about his path, not just the wins, but the losses and how he recovered from those. So thank you for streaming in or catching us live when we go live on the audio airs here. This is That Entrepreneur Show, the #1 podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs to hear from successful founders around the world. My name is Vincent A. Lancy. I'm excited to deliver another show with another rock star guest. This show today is brought to you by our friend John Ford. Head to empathyset.com to help you stay mentally healthy in this busy world of entrepreneurship. But I like to run these show in phases. Before, we're going to get right now, and then we'll circle back to what's next with these masterminds. But when did you know that entrepreneurship was the right choice for you?
It's a great question. I didn't really know. I kind of just stumbled into it. Unlike most people that get into entrepreneurship who are like, I don't want to work for anyone and I want to do things myself. That wasn't my way. I was an engineer by trade. I loved what I did. I was working as a sales engineer with like mid-sized companies a lot. But I kind of got into the marketing space super randomly. And I was just curious, man. I'm curious about everything. And so I started learning about websites, Google Ads, SEO, realized I didn't enjoy building out 80-hour websites. But as I did that, I noticed that like there's a gap between like businesses understanding marketing and then marketing agencies understanding business. Like anytime I would put people in the same meeting and match make between the two, I found that they weren't speaking the same language and that most marketing agencies didn't really understand business. And so what ended up happening was like, I was like, maybe I could be the matchmaker between the two. And so I kind of just started doing that on the side of work for a while. And it got to a point where about 3.5 years in, the flywheel hit. And I was like, all right, looks like I'm making way more money doing this. I like doing both things. Like, let's just go give this a shot. And that's how I got into entrepreneurship.
Once you did make that jump, what was one of the hardest things from the transition from the steady job you had to now risking it all?
Yeah. So for me, I never really got to the point where I was like risking it all. Like I'm an engineer, so I'm like fully like prepared for all situations. So I had about a year of runway in the business to pay like everything for the business. So like, even though I had that financial security, everyone would call it, because most people run business with like a 3-month runway, not a 1-year runway. It was still really hard. Like once you left the full-time gig, that stability just still feels like it's lost. And so you had to grow personally to be like, I have to get comfortable with just being uncertain all the time, right? Like that's what happens in business, right? 3-4 months in, interest rates hiked in the US, all e-commerce businesses got hit. Everyone who had loans ended up getting like having to pay double the amount a month, right? So we almost hit that like mini little recession and then kind of been like riding that. So that's kind of the hardest part, of just being comfortable with the uncertainty and just like growing into that.
Yes, the uncertainty is real, the ups and downs. You'll have great months, you'll have 0 months, and that's just part of the game. But that's great advice there, having the runway just to get started. And I'm sure I had a little bit of a runway, but not a 1-year runway. I had finally left corporate, and I'm sure the peace of mind with the 1-year runway is nice. But other than financial challenges, there are a ton of other challenges to get a business off the ground. What's another one that still sticks out to you as a major lesson learned?
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons I learned was very early on. So when I started this business, I had a partner in the business for the first 3 to 6 months. And we kind of built it together. That's kind of where the name CJAM comes from. His llast name, my last name, combine it, kept it. Because he gave me the idea of like kind of starting this thing, right?
Sure.
But there was a time where he was about 20 years older than me, and his decision was, Dad, I don't want to do this. Like, this isn't interesting to me. I'm at a later stage in life. I want to find what I really want to do.
Sure.
And that was hard because I'm the type of person that likes to work with people. I love to collaborate. I like to bounce ideas off of people. I like to build things with others. And so all of a sudden when he said, I don't want to be part of this anymore, I went, oh, how am I going to do this myself? Like, can I do this myself? There's all those like questions, right? And I remember being in my living room. We have this little bench. It's probably about this long. And I was like just facing on it with my stomach on it, my head down to the ground. My wife is just looking at me like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Can I do this thing? Can I not do it? And it was super interesting because I actually talked to the partner about it, the ex-partner in the business. And he said, B, people get partners in business because they're trying to fill in a gap. What gap was I filling in for you? And that totally just like triggered something for me in my brain. And I said, oh, the gap that he fills is one, I like talking to people about the thoughts and ideas that I have. At that point, I had built a network of a few different agencies that I could talk to. So I was like, okay, that gap. And two, he was a very high level sales exec, like very high level, working with enterprise businesses and stuff like that. And so I said, okay, well, if he's the like 10 out of 10, what am I compared to him? I'm like an 8.5 out of 10, let's say. I'm like, that's not that far off. And I could still use him for advice and stuff like that. And so I asked him and he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And that actually took away the fear of that part of that journey. Never had to ask him about sales advice. I've been doing quite well 5 years later. But you know what? Like, it just felt like such a big thing in that moment.
And I'm sure, and all the advice you gathered from him in the time you had together has helped you catapult to where you are today. And now we learned a little bit about your business. Who would you say your target customer is? Who can you best serve?
Yeah, so my target market is typically businesses that are scaling and growing, typically in the $3 to $30 million range, but I work with customers smaller and bigger. But once a business really understands like, okay, we have product market fit and we're growing, but we don't actually have like a marketing strategy in place, or we don't feel like we have the right marketing agencies or experts helping us, because in the marketing realm, like if you are working with B-level players, it's way different than working with an A-level player. Like the top 5% can help your business grow exponentially versus ones that kind of keep it stagnant or linear. And so I kind of come in and go, based on what you have currently today, you need to upgrade your partners that you currently have. Here's the people that I recommend, and then you can move forward from there, right? And so that's kind of where I work really well in. And I've worked across all different types of industries. Like I got customers in the service-based industry, e-commerce, SaaS, manufacturing, app marketing, just a whole range of things, because I've talked to over 1,028 different marketing agencies and experts over the last 6 years. And so I have probably have one of the best networks in the world when it comes to marketing.
This is a friendly push to put that in some kind of book.
I do need to get to a book at some point. Yes.
You have all of that data, and I mean, you have social media content for years, of course, but putting that in a book, that's going to be part of your legacy already. I'm manifesting it for you. So the next time we catch up, you're like, hey, Vince, we got to get to writing with authors too. I got the book to talk about. So keep up the great work and keep aspiring for more. But I'd like to talk on some areas I know that you can provide some value to. What's something about running a company that most people don't realize?
Yeah. So I think, like, let's just talk about going from full-time to running a business. A lot of people think like, oh, like it's just all roses. I own my own schedule. I do all these different things. What people don't realize is that when you're in the corporate environment, there's a ladder. We all know that the ladder exists in the corporate realm. The same ladder exists on the business side, right? So you start a business, you're a solopreneur initially, and then you move up to hiring a few different people. You become a manager. Once you become a manager, then you become the business owner, because then you get someone underneath to kind of manage your team. And then once you're that business owner, you're like, I got some free time. What do you end up doing? And if you're successful at it, you have money. And so you go, well, I'm going to start investing. So you pull yourself out of the business, start investing in other businesses, right? And it just keeps rolling up. There's a whole ladder. And each time you're leveling up, you literally have to become a different person, right? And that's what people don't realize. They think like, oh, if I go into the business realm, like I can go get passive income. Like that stuff doesn't exist. It exists, but it takes so much time to build. Like some people, it could take them 3 years to build passive income, but it's because they failed for the last 15 years, right? But typically it'll take you anywhere from like 5 to sometimes 30 years to build a machine that runs itself. And people don't realize also that business is constantly evolving and changing. The environment is constantly changing. You could have a business. I know people had a business one day and the next day, 95% of the revenue is gone because there's an algorithm update or there's something going on and you have no control over that. And so there's so much that people don't see that happens in business. And those are just some of them.
Commonalities I find with folks who are not in entrepreneurship is they see the aesthetics, the social media and website, think, what else are you doing? Right? What else? You're answering emails. Like I maxed out my LinkedIn sales nav connections requests the last 3 weeks. Right. And those are no one sees that. That's a 99% failure, but it's a lot of no answers, no's, but I'm getting closer and closer to finding that target. Right. So Great for bringing that up, because as an entrepreneur, we have to wear a lot of hats. And in the beginning, you can't worry about being the best or perfect at them all. You just have to do them. And as you grow and start making money, he talked about investing in other companies, and of course, investing in yours to grow. As he mentioned, it can turn into that machine that runs, right? I'm finally stepping out of my business with the head of operation to see how it runs without me involved. And as business owners, of course, that's a goal for many of us. So thank you for motivating our audience throughout. And of course, with that, now you mentioned this mastermind. Do you do a lot of masterminds? Or tell us first, before we dive into the specifics of this one, what are the benefits you find of investing in yourself here to do this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been doing a lot of masterminds and conferences over the years. It's kind of interesting. 3 years ago, I think around 3 years ago, I was still 3.5, maybe. I was working full time, still at the engineering job, but there was this mastermind happening in Vegas, and it was like $2,000 to go to it, $2,000 American, which in Canada that's like $10,000 Canadian. And you have to fly down and you have to get a hotel, all this different kind of stuff, right? So the end cost is like $3,000 to $4,000 to go to this mastermind over 3 days. And for someone who hasn't spent that kind of money on any type of conference or mastermind yourself, typically the company you work for pays for that. And so you don't really see how much those things cost. But I took the dive. I was like, listen, like I've made money in the business. There's stuff in it. Like, let me do this and see what happens. And that opened up a whole world for me, because I'm like, oh, I'm in a room of people that understand how I think. And that's when I kind of really realized, I was like, oh, my brain is it thinks totally different than in a corporate environment. Yeah. As soon as I started telling people what I did, how I did it, they just got it. Like, it was just so fast. They're like, then you should do this and you should try that. And I'm like, wow. Okay. I'm in a room of people that are really intelligent. They're all running businesses. They're all telling me I got something that makes a lot of sense, giving me ideas on how to move forward. I'm building relationships. That event, like I've probably made over like 150 to 200 grand just from like the relationships and things that I've gotten from that event. Right. And so that kind of like took that Band-Aid off. And then, so I did another one and then realized, oh, that paid for itself as well through connections and networking and that kind of stuff. So I'm a super connector at the end of the day. Like when you look at the number of people that I've met and the relationships that I've built, I just love connecting humans together. And it just so happens that I do it in marketing and development, but I also do it in other areas of my life as well. And so me going to those networking events is just like, it gives me energy. I love meeting people. I love building relationships. And it actually helps business too, which is like a great byproduct of it.
And I love what you said there, investing in relationships. My business, I'm celebrating as we're recording this 10 years in entrepreneurship in 4 days. Wow. I didn't start figuring it out until I didn't start making money consistently until about 7.5, 8 years, right? Yeah. After I finally hired an assistant and started letting go all of that. Investing in relationships is when that started to happen. I used to be so focused on trying to get a sale. All right, that's not the way it works. Building these relationships with people over years, like you're saying, you're seeing the same people maybe at other conferences. Oh, I know B, he does this. You got to talk to him. Funneling your business because you have that trust built, that human interaction. Well, virtual events, are great. I love them. Like right now, we've been connected, but nothing replaces that in-person handshake, talking about your businesses. And as you said, it paid for the investment of the ticket with the revenue generated from referrals in that department. So absolutely incredible. Now we can touch on the event you're going to, maybe inspire some people to go there next year.
Yeah. So I'm going to Dynamite Circle. So it's actually a group of lifestyle entrepreneurs. I really like it because people just have a different mindset. So I'm part of different groups. Some groups are like, we need to scale and make as much money as possible. And then this group's like, I just kind of want to build a business that I really enjoy and allows me to travel and go around the world and all that different kind of stuff. And there's some really highly successful people too in this group. But I just really like the vibe of it, right? Like that's kind of what I'm building and I've built is a business that I enjoy running, and I don't care to make a ton of money. Like I just want to help people as best I can and build a machine that really, really works well. But I don't care if this thing makes 8-9 figures. Like that's not my goal in life. Like that's not going to make my life any happier. It's not going to do anything for me. I'm just enjoying the process of building what I built. And I have the same mindset people are going to this event. So it's from, I head down on Monday. I think we got like a day of rest, and then it's like a 3-day event where you'll do presentations. I'm going to run a panel around just like what marketing strategies are working for the group. And then every night we have social mixers and networking events. I'm hosting a ping pong tournament after some of the presentations. So it's going to be a pretty fun like business event where you're going to meet some cool people.
So you've got skills in ping pong.
I have some skills. I still need to go hire myself a coach at some point because I love ping pong. It's so much fun when you get to
I doubt he's listening, but one of my buddies growing up, Alex, we used to play at his house. He's a lawyer now, so this isn't really his aligned podcast, but used to beat me pretty good every time. I was never very good at it.
Yeah, I'm totally excited for it. And Mexico's the best place to play ping pong. Like that's just Mexico and ping pong just go hand in hand together.
All right. Well, I hope it's fun. I look forward to hopefully seeing some stuff up on LinkedIn and on the other networks now that we're connected. But before I let you go, before I get your contact info, if you could pick any entrepreneur, dead or alive, to sit down with that you haven't met yet, to pick their brain a bit, who's your choice and why?
Oh, good question. I mean, this is a pretty generic answer, but like Warren Buffett, I would just love to just pick his brain.
Not as generic as you think.
Okay. All right.
Let's talk about it. You get a lot of, if I hear Elon Musk or the big ones, I always ask, let's delve into why, because you can't argue the choice, but I am interested to see how, like you said, everyone's brain works a bit differently to why they want to speak.
Yeah. So for me, Warren Buffett is just, I mean, he's extremely smart. He knows how to evaluate businesses. He understands economies. He understands all that stuff that I don't understand or haven't put time into fully understanding. Right. I'm more of an index investor, and I just kind of leave it at that. And just we mess around with some other different types of mutual funds. But the way that he sees business, the way he thinks about business is just something that's super interesting to me. And would love to just like pick his brain on that. And I know that he gives a lot of information online, but it'd be good to be chatting one-on-one.
Where would the meeting go down if you could pick the location to?
Oh, I know he likes burgers. So we have a place called The Parlor in Gastown in Vancouver, and they got like a double smash burger that's almost like the evolved version of a McDonald's like burger. It'd probably be there.
All right, well, that's great. I got to thank you so much, B, for coming on, and you gave us a lights out show. If you could talk to your earlier self on day one of entrepreneurship, give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Once again, generic advice, but dude, learn to enjoy the process. The outcome does not matter at all. And just let go of the fear. Like just go at it. You're going to be fine. You got all the skills you need, and just go at it and see what you can do.
I wanted to sneak one more in there for everyone listening on because we had an extra minute or two. Thank you so much, V, for coming on the show. Again, coming from Canada, so it's always great to see my message getting across outside in the Tampa Bay region. Now, very grateful that we get to attract entrepreneurs like you who have now had over 1,000 assessments of marketing agencies. The sheet I had 963, so I just updated it from where we go live to 1,000 plus. So I want to make sure we're not shorting you there. Where can we find you online, website, social media, whatever you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn, as you said. So Beta Jamshidi, when you're looking for me on LinkedIn. If you're trying to get in contact with me, just going through my website, so www.cjammarketing.com. If you fill out a form there or connect with me on my Calendly, there is the best way. And if you are a business owner and you're trying to find the right marketing agencies and partners, like if you go down to the bottom of my website, there's a whole resource section of the types of questions you should ask, the pricing lists, like all that stuff, so you don't get scammed by marketing partners and just trying to, roll your wheels and never figure it out.
I love that, everyone. Great lesson there. I've got free resources too on my site. You got to be willing to help people and help them succeed and not worry about the sale, invest in the relationship. My name is Vincent A. Lancey, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our next entrepreneur. And remember, if you're watching the live stream or the video clips when it comes out, the website is up there, cjammarketing.com. And with that, we are signing out from Canada all the way down to me here in Florida. Thank you so much, B.
Thanks for having me.